Darwin's skyrocketing property. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's have a look at this domain article which is discussing Darwin's skyrocketing property. Now I'll bring up a chart here showing just the median price from CoreLogic of Darwin's property was $384,000 for houses or dwelling values. Now that's the median in July this year. And we'll also look at just property prices because, well, they've shot up a little bit around Australia. You may have been following the news. Darwin here, which one is it? It's the orange line. And you can see it peaked probably around 2014-15 between there and has been heading down ever since. So let's have a look at this new news. I know we have some viewers in Darwin. Add your input into the comments, guys. Let us know what it's really like up there other than bloody hot. So, I mean, that's the funny thing with Australia is so big. We can be talking about, Hobart and Tasmania where they need to build fires to keep warm in their houses. Where Darwin, you don't even put gutters on some of the roofs because there's so much rain, it's just pointless. So, from the worst market to one of the best. Why? The housing prices in Darwin have skyrocketed. Darwin's housing market has seen massive gains in the past year as the Northern Territory's capital's economy has bounced back quickly after the COVID-19 related lockdowns, with experts predicting prices will continue to rise. September saw house prices rise by 6.6% for the quarter to $539,000 according to domain data. Only Hobart saw greater gains for the quarter to 6.9%. For the year, Darwin house prices were up 7.2%, a higher annual gain than Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane saw in the year to September. Darwin's gone from the worst market in Australia to one of the best, Real Estate Central NT Director Daniel Harris said. Why? Okay, let me know, guys, what's going on in Darwin. Is there a mining boom? Is there a military boom? Are they expanding? What's going on? He said the city had seen an influx in demand for houses since late last year, which picked up after COVID-19 related restrictions ended there in May, as other states, particularly in the southeast, were slower to reopen, or in the case of Victoria, had second lockdowns. Much of demand was in the 650,000 and below sector of the market, which attracted government incentives, Mr. Harris said. Aha! So are we seeing the effect of the government intervention in the housing market start to materialize in Darwin? Is this an overheating of the market? Are these natural prices? The Territory Homeowner Discount allows home buyers who have not had a property in the NT for the previous 2 years to save up to $18,000 in stamp duty for homes under $650,000. First home buyers are also eligible for grants of between $2,000 and $10,000 for expenses including household goods and renovations. And all eligible people building in the state can take advantage of the build bonus grant of $20,000. They're just chucking money, insane amounts of money. It's crazy. Mr. Harris said the Territory Homeowner Discount was aimed at bringing people back to the NT who might have moved interstate. He said since the pandemic, people have been doing just that, not necessarily just for the grant, but for lifestyle and work reasons. It's predominantly Victorians, but it's a mix of states, he said. These people are buying homes and renting for 12 months. They're not all here for a corona-free holiday. And we can see, look at the prices now. What is it? September. Sydney, 1.15. Melbourne, 875. I need to update my chart. It's moved a lot. And Darwin, there you go, 539. Well, my chart's looking at dwellings. It's probably combined. Still 539,000, guys. Look at Brisbane, nearly 600 grand for a house. Darwin tended to lose more people to interstate migration than it gained, said economist and regional development policy expert and professorial research fellow at Charles Darwin University, Rolf Gritson. But that loss was declining, with the June quarter showing the net interstate migration loss for the city was just 207 people, compared with 872 at the same time in 2019, according to the ABS. Dr. Grenetson said he expected an even smaller decline in Darwin's population in the September quarter. Because of the pandemic, Since we've opened our borders, 125,000 people have come to the territory, he said. The economy is on the uptick, and that will be revealed in the next set of official statistics. He said, defence spending, there you go, both by Australia and US governments, would likely create jobs and attract people to the far north capital, along with some renewed mining activity. The territory economy is not just going to boom, but it will bounce back out of COVID faster than most other economies. Oh, so it's not going to boom. Okay, it's not going to boom, guys, don't worry. I would expect in the future house prices to maintain steady growth. Health professionals as well as large proportions of government workers were attracted to the city, the doctor said. Another positive for house prices. We have the highest proportion of public service employees in the labour force for any part of Australia, including Canberra, he said. There you go. So it's another Canberra. It's another city propped up by the civil service. Rain and Horn Darwin General Manager Glenn Grantham said people starting to come to Darwin for jobs in the early stages of the pandemic, but now he was noticing retirees moving for lifestyle and investors buying for strong rental yields. The yields are amazing. You can buy a house in the high 200s to low 300s and get 500 per week, where previously you could only get 400 per week, he said. COVID has been a well-timed hit in the arm for Darwin. A resurgence of hospitality, retail, and to a lesser extent tourism has also seen the economy thrive, Chamber of Commerce Northern Territory Chief Operations Officer Nicole Walsh said. We've been able to start to run events and activities which have also had a big impact on jobs for people, Ms. Walsh said. We've been very fortunate to be able to open up a lot quicker than with fewer restrictions than the other states and territories. She said some industries were even struggling to find workers and were trying to attract them from interstate and overseas. Why overseas? We're hearing anecdotally in Darwin that some people are struggling to get workers in some of the horticultural areas, particularly in areas such as fruit picking. Charles Darwin University has received funding from the Northern Territory Australian Infrastructure Facility and the federal government to build new facilities in the CBD, hopefully attracting international students along with it, the doctor said. Again, it's ticking the local construction sector over, he said. The territory economy has just almost returned to normal. What do you think about that one, everyone? So, hopes for international students, hopes for increased tourism, hopes for people migrating from the rest of Australia to Darwin, fueled by the largest proportion of civil servants in the military and construction, everything, outside of Canberra, or even bigger than Canberra, they said. There we have it. What I'll bring up, just a little thing I like to show, to demonstrate this, the impacts of property council data and the impacts of the recession on different cities. And we can see here the property council data room. Let's have a look at commercial property in Canberra and compare it to other parts of the country, at least in the last recession. Okay, so what do we have here? This is vacancy rates. Okay, so here we have the recession that Australia had to have, or began here, and it took a few years to materialize, or the impacts to be felt. So you don't instantly get in and out of recession. We've entered recession now. It's going to take some time for the damage that's been done to the economy to filter through, everyone. It's going to be a tough few years. Don't kid yourself. But some people are going to be better off than others. And in one of those cities, look at Canberra. There you go. It's vacancy rate in offices, which I'm using as an indicator of the performance of the private sector and the demand for government sector. You can see here it didn't really impact until 97, whereas Sydney, it really hit at 93, and Melbourne as well, it hit up at 93. So if we have a look here at Darwin, which didn't actually exist in 1990, or they didn't have data, we'll have to keep an eye on the vacancy rates here. Because in all other cities in Australia, Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, even Adelaide, and even good old Perth, and let's not forget Hobart, they all copped a hit. Except for good old Canberra. Is Darwin the next Canberra? Is that going to filter through to the demand for commercial spaces? And will that also materialize in residential property prices? What do you think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy our merch from HeiseSays or Teespring. You can use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you next time.